Good afternoon, Cardiff. I'm Dan Donnelly. This is Cardiff at 1. Thanks to Kerry for coming on the show earlier on. Next up this afternoon, I'm on the phone. I'm speaking with Louise Johnson, or Shelley. Michelle Johnson even. Shelley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Oh, I can't believe I got your name wrong.
Don't panic.
So, Shelley, you've just been awarded with the Heart Hero Award. What's this award in honour of?
It was for the British Heart Foundation, and it's the Health Professional Award. And I was volunteering for 2 years as part of the cardiac rehabilitation team.
Right.
So it's recognition for that, really. So one of the nurses sort of nominated me, and it went to a public vote. And I was up against 4 cardiologists, ding dong, and you know I won, so I was over the moon.
How did you end up volunteering?
Well, what happened was on a glorious bank holiday Monday in 2013, I had a horrific car accident, and I sustained multiple fractures to my pelvis and back, and a nasty sort of head injury. I spent months recovering from this. It took me about a year to recover. So I had people come into the house, physios, occupational therapists, nurses, carers, who came to wash and clean me 3 times a day.
Wow.
And they gave me all sorts of gadgets, by the way, commodes, Zimmer frames, wheelchairs, and it sort of makes you look at life in a different perspective, if that makes any sense.
No, I can imagine.
So I wanted to I know it sounds silly, but I wanted to give something back, and I work as a full-time civil engineer, and my background is in exercise, so I thought what better way to offer my services is in sort of exercise prescription.
Right.
So I contacted the cardiac rehabilitation team in the University Hospital Wales, and they kindly accepted me. So I worked there as part of the Phase 3 cardiac rehabilitation program. So and I was doing that for 2 years. I have been recently taken on, so which is good news. But I also sort of funded myself through the qualification as well. There's a special qualification level 4, which I paid for myself as well. So then I started doing the classes in the community then. So
I'm just sort of trying to piece this all together. So you had a really bad accident, and you obviously had a long sort of period of recovery there where you got back on your feet. You're the mother of 3, and you're a full-time civil engineer. And then you started volunteering, and you put together this maintenance exercise sessions. I don't even know what maintenance exercise means.
Maintenance means long-term maintenance. So what they do is they do the exercise prescription for 6 weeks in the cardiac rehabilitation unit in the UHW, and then they do that for 6 weeks, and then they get referred to community classes.
Yeah.
So I actually do the long-term maintenance. So they got me for life, basically. So as soon as they finish in the hospital environment, they come in the community, and they've got the support from a specialist, exercise instructor like myself. So they got me for life, basically.
How do you do it all? I'm serious. I don't think I could cope with more than like 2 paper rounds. But
well, I've got a very understanding other half, Chris Adams, bless him. I'll give you a typical day. But I think anyone that knows me knows I'm motivated and driven. And
right.
And to be honest, doing the work is immense to me. The rewards are amazing. I've met new friends, I've gained new qualifications, and I work with an awesome set of people, in the NHS. My typical day, I'll start at 7 o'clock in the morning, working for Caerphilly Council, bless them. Yeah. As a civil engineer, I deal with flood risk management, so I deal with all sorts of things to do with drainage. Yeah. I'm a drain slave, I call myself. So I start at 7, and I finish at 3:30. And then I drive then straight to the Heath Hospital, the University Hospital Wales. I start there at 4:30, finish at 6, and then I drive then straight to one of my community classes, and I start there at 6:30 and I finish at 7:30. So I'm actually working 5 days and 4 nights at the moment, but I've also changed my working patterns as well. I'm working 3 days for Caerphilly now, and I'm working 2 days for the NHS, doing. There's a pilot scheme at the moment for pre-habilitation for lung cancer patients. So I'm helping out and assisting there on that program as well. So I'm doing 2 days in the NHS, 2 nights, and then 3 days for Caerphilly. So yeah, it is. It just works. And my other half is, very understanding, very good.
Yeah, he sounds like he's a bit of a legend as well.
He is a legend.
He's doing
Yes, he is.
behind the
Fair
scenes.
play to him. He is a legend.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about what were your sort of initial thoughts when you received the award and when you first heard? How do you feel about it?
Oh my God, I was so shocked. I didn't expect to win. There was a few people that were going to come to the awards, and it was in the daytime, and they sort of dropped out, and I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to win anyway. I'm not going to win anyway. But I did. I won, and it was fair to say I was absolutely delighted. It was one of those ding-dong moments. You know, like I said, I was up against 4 cardiologists, and, you know, they do an amazing job. But it was down to the vote. It was the public that voted, and I think then it went to a panel for the British Heart Foundation, and they obviously thought I was the worthy winner. So, like you said, you know, I was just absolutely over the moon.
So, I mean, you mentioned earlier that, you know, when you had the accident, you started noticing, you know, things that you normally take for granted, that you sort of, like, you had a lot of things like equipment given to you to help support you. Would you say sort of that realisation is what's driven you to sort of get involved and volunteer?
Yeah, I just wanted to give something back. You know, like you said, I was in a wheelchair. You know, I had to learn to walk in a Zimmer frame. You know, I had carers coming into my house, you know, strangers every day coming into my house and, you know, helping me. And, you know, you do see the world from a different perspective. You know, before I had the accident, I don't think I'd ever been in hospital other than having kids. Do you know what I mean? You know, you're in and out. But then obviously...
You don't sound like, just from speaking to you, you don't sound like your typical easy patient either, you know, just sit there and, I'll
No. In fact, it was when you're in hospital, you've got everybody looking after you, so they're all doing stuff for you. But then when I came home, reality sort of kicked in. So my other half, bless him, he had a lot to cope with in the first couple of weeks of me coming home, because I couldn't look after myself, really. You know, he had to do things for me that, you know, you'd think they would happen in your older age, if that makes any sense. Especially, you know, I know it sounds all emptying a commode. You know, how embarrassing for me. You know, I was 3 years ago. I'm 46 now. I was 43 then. You know, it was a bit degrading, but you know, he's my hero. Fair play to him. He should be having this. He's the hero.
Oh, you're so modest.
Yeah. But I've also raised some money as well. I've done some sponsored walks, which I did. I called it. I've done sponsored walks, and we've done some barbecues and stuff, and we've raised about $5,000. So I've donated 2 defibrillators, and I did the defibrillators I bought off Welsh Heart. We've donated one to the school that I teach in Melon Griffith, the Welsh school, and I've got one for myself, which I take round for my cardiac classes, and then I've got another $3,000 now, so I'm hoping to buy some more and defibs and give them to the local community. Probably going to give one to my old high school, which is Easton High up in Rumney High, in Rumney.
Shelley, we run out of time.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's fine. I just wanted to say to you that you are a living legend. You are the legend of the week for me, and just keep doing what you're doing, unless you need a break, because you might sounds like you might want one now and then. So just congratulations on winning the award, and really keep going.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on the radio today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
There you go. You heard it yourself. Living legend Shelley, a.k.a. Michelle Johnson. She is our Heart Hero Award. So that's all we've got time for today. Thanks to all our guests.